The spotlight at the opening round in Thai Grand Prix was firmly on one man making the most anticipated debut of the season. Toprak Razgatlioglu, the Superbike World Championship king, arrived in the premier class with enormous expectations, but what unfolded in Thailand revealed a far more complex reality inside the Yamaha garage. Behind the scenes, there were flashes of brilliance that did not fully translate to the final results sheet. At several points during both the sprint and the Grand Prix, Razgatlioglu was matching, and occasionally beating the pace of Yamaha's established stars. Yet the bigger story emerging from the race weekend is one that could concern Yamaha's long-term MotoGP ambitions. Because while Razgatlioglu showed encouraging speed, the new V4-powered Yamaha project appears to still be chasing the benchmarks set by its rivals. And according to his teammate Jack Miller, the reality inside the paddock may be more revealing than the results suggest. For Razgatlioglu, the race weekend at the Chang International Circuit was always going to be a baptism of fire. Moving from WorldSBK machinery to a full MotoGP race distance under the brutal Thai heat is one of the most physically demanding challenges a rider can face. Still, there were moments that showed why Yamaha fought hard to bring the Turkish star into the project. During the sprint race, Razgatlioglu briefly emerged as the fastest Yamaha rider on 2 separate laps before crashing and rejoining the race. Even after the fall, he managed to recover and reach the finish in 20th place. An effort that highlighted both his determination and raw pace. The Grand Prix offered an even clearer picture of his potential. For the majority of the race, Razgatlioglu was able to run at a very similar rhythm to Yamaha's factory duo, Fabio Quartararo and Alex Rins, despite his lack of MotoGP experience. Up until lap 20 of the 26-lap race, the 4 Yamaha riders were circulating within a relatively tight performance window. But then, everything changed. As the race entered its final phase, tyre degradation began to punish the Yamaha riders heavily, particularly those from the Prima Pramac Yamaha MotoGP squad. Razgatlioglu and Miller both began to suffer severe rear tyre grip loss, triggering a rapid drop in lap times. Miller endured the worst of it. His final 2 laps were actually slower than his opening lap from a standing start, a dramatic indicator of how badly the rear tyre performance had collapsed. At the checkered flag, Razgatlioglu crossed the line in 17th place, 39.2 seconds behind race winner Marco Bezzecchi. Miller followed in 18th, trailing by 47.8 seconds. Only Ducati test rider Michele Pirro finished behind them. Meanwhile, the factory riders Quartararo and Rins managed to maintain a slightly more stable rhythm, finishing 14th and 15th respectively, though still over half a minute off the victory. After the race, Razgatlioglu remained calm and realistic about the challenge ahead. "This was my first full MotoGP race, and of course I was hoping for a better result," he admitted. "But the race is long and extremely demanding. 26 laps in this kind of heat is physically very tough." The Turkish rider also acknowledged the tyre difficulties but avoided placing blame. "We did have some issues with rear grip, especially as the race progressed, but I don't want to blame anyone. I know I still have a lot to learn." At the same time, Razgatlioglu stressed that Yamaha is pushing hard to improve the package. "We know Yamaha are working very hard to improve the bike. Grip was quite limited throughout the race, and it seemed like a general situation for all Yamaha riders, because we were quite close together. When the lap time data from Thailand is analysed, the performance gap becomes clearer." In the sprint race, the fastest Yamaha rider, Miller, lost an average of 1.036 seconds per lap compared with the eventual sprint winner Pedro Acosta. In Sunday's Grand Prix, Quartararo, the best-placed Yamaha rider, lost an average of 1.186 seconds per lap to Bezzecchi. Interestingly, those figures are very similar to the deficit Yamaha experienced in 2025 when the team was still using its traditional inline-4 engine configuration. That comparison is crucial, because one of Yamaha's major objectives when introducing the new V4 engine concept was simple: the new bike needed to be at least as competitive as the old inline-4 platform. So far, the numbers suggest the project still has work to do. The Thailand race marked one of the first competitive outings for Yamaha's evolving V4 development direction. However, without an inline-4 Yamaha racing alongside it this weekend, a direct comparison on track was impossible. Historical race data offers the closest benchmark. In 2025, Yamaha's race pace in Thailand averaged 0.858 seconds per lap, slower than the winner during the Grand Prix. In 2026, that gap appears slightly larger. While conditions and race circumstances always influence such statistics, the trend suggests Yamaha has not yet taken the step forward many expected. For Yamaha, the bigger picture may actually be encouraging, but only in the long term. Razgatlioglu's performance proved that the rider adaptation process is progressing faster than many expected, matching the pace of experienced MotoGP riders after only one weekend is no small achievement. The real question lies with the motorcycle itself. If Yamaha can unlock better tyre management and rear grip, two areas where rivals like Ducati, Aprilia and KTM currently excel, the foundation for competitiveness could already be present. But if the performance gap persists, the V4 project could face growing scrutiny as the 2026 season unfolds. For now, Thailand delivered an early reality check. The rider may be ready for MotoGP, but Yamaha's new machine is still searching for its breakthrough. Another revealing detail from the weekend was how closely the Yamaha riders were circulating together for much of the race. Despite running outside the points, the quartet of Fabio Quartararo, Alex Rins, Jack Miller and Toprak Razgatlioglu spent long stretches separated by only a few tenths per lap. This suggests that the performance ceiling of the Yamaha package is currently quite narrow, leaving little room for riders to extract significantly more pace. For Razgatlioglu, however, the data also reveals a positive sign. Even though this was his first experience racing a full MotoGP distance, his lap times remained competitive with Yamaha's most experienced riders deep into the race. Matching the rhythm of a former world champion like Quartararo in such demanding conditions is an encouraging indicator of the Turkish rider's adaptability. From a technical perspective, the most significant challenge appears to revolve around rear tyre life. Once the tyre began to drop away after lap 20, the Yamaha machines struggled to maintain traction when exiting slower corners. At a